Hey there! Welcome to Secrets of the Ancients. If you want to catch this and future videos, it'd really help us out if you subscribe, like, and drop a comment. Your support means a lot, so thanks for being here. Mysterious cave carvings, aliens, gods, or, maybe something else entirely. Out in Utah, there are these strange figures with no arms and deep, hollow eyes carved into the red rock. Some folks think they might be gods, or maybe something that came from the sky. Then, in a deep cave in Mexico, explorers say they found ancient stones showing aliens trading corn with humans. And in the dark tunnels of South Africa, a species with chimp-sized brains somehow created what might just be the oldest symbolic art ever found. These ancient cave markings, well, they really suggest surprisingly advanced knowledge. In Sego Canyon, Utah, there's this stretch of rock art that's thousands of years old, some of it over 8,000. But these carvings don't show the usual hunters or animals. Instead, they're tall, odd-looking figures with big sunken eyes, no arms or legs, and sometimes what look like antennas coming out of their heads. Honestly, they look more like 1950s sci-fi robots than anything else. Naturally, this caught the attention of ancient alien enthusiasts. One of the most striking images is called the Holy Ghost panel. A tall figure is surrounded by smaller, shadowy ones, making it pretty clear that the big one is the most important. So, were they just imagining things, or did they actually see something they felt needed to be recorded? In Mexico, a group of explorers claimed they found solid evidence of ancient alien contact. While digging in caves between Veracruz and Puebla, they uncovered what they call the first contact stones, carved artifacts showing figures with large oval eyes and long heads. One even shows what seems to be an alien handing a corn cob to a human ruler. The team believes this could be undeniable proof of extraterrestrial visitors thousands of years ago. Local legends even talk about a mysterious ship hidden in the area since ancient times, but the National Institute of Anthropology and History wouldn't officially investigate, saying it's not considered traditional archaeology. If they ever did accept it, it would mean acknowledging something many consider impossible: life beyond Earth. In South Africa, deep inside the Rising Star Cave system, so deep you have to crawl through pitch-black tunnels to get there, archaeologists discovered carvings that might be the earliest symbolic art ever found. And no, Homo sapiens didn't make them. They were created by a human relative with a brain about 1/3 the size of ours, called Homo naledi. Somehow they made abstract art, lines, crosses, even what might be early animal depictions, near what appears to be a burial site. This is real symbolic art, and it throws a wrench in the idea that bigger brains always mean more advanced thinking. As archaeologist Lee Berger said, it might rewrite our understanding of human evolution. In 2022, researchers used 3D scanning to reveal giant carvings in a cave in northern Alabama, designs that had never been seen before because they're only visible with 3D imaging. Some are 7 feet long, and were carved into low ceilings, meaning the artists had to lie on their backs in the dark to make them. The designs include snakes, human-like figures, and mysterious symbols, more than 1,000 years old, likely made by the Mississippian culture. Nothing like this has been found in their other art, and the fact that the carvings were hidden and hard to reach suggests they were deeply important, possibly symbolic or ceremonial, or even messages to the future. In Italy, over 140,000 ancient rock carvings fill Valcamonica, one of Europe's largest collections of prehistoric rock art. Most of them show typical scenes, animals, tools, rituals, but 2 figures stand out. They have bulky bodies, tight-fitting suits, round helmets, and even what looks like antennas. Some think they look just like astronauts, and ancient alien theorists believe these are images of early human contact with space travelers, or even visitors from the future. Of course, these could also be stylized gods or warriors. The problem is there's no writing to explain any of it, so nobody knows for sure. In Talampaya National Park in Argentina, strange petroglyphs carved into rock walls are about 2,000 to 3,000 years old. Some show ordinary things like animals, but others are harder to explain. One shows large, round heads with no facial features, almost like they're wearing helmets. No tools, weapons or clothes are visible. Again, alien theories pop up. Maybe these were beings that early humans saw but couldn't understand. In 2023, archaeologists digging near the Karga oasis in Egypt, west of Luxor, discovered a strange rock carving. At first glance, it looks like spiders or bugs in webs, an idea supported by Egyptologist Salima Ikram. But another researcher, Dr. Derek Cunningham, suggested it might actually be ancient astronomy. He says the patterns match angles related to lunar cycles, and others think the designs show constellations, maybe an early star chart. In European caves, symbols like dots, slashes, crosses and strange Y-shapes have been found next to animal drawings. For a long time, people thought they were just doodles, but a 2023 study suggested they might be the oldest form of writing, used to track time and animal migrations using the lunar calendar. That's a pretty big leap in cognition for Ice Age humans, suggesting they were organizing knowledge in ways we didn't expect. In a Russian cave, petroglyphs from the Bronze Age seem to show a massive object falling from the sky and breaking apart, possibly the earliest eyewitness account of a meteor crash. Researchers even matched the carving's direction with real-world impact sites nearby. In Australia, ancient rock art in the remote Kimberley region shows beings called the Wandjina, drawn with glowing white faces, no mouths and huge black eyes, some surrounded by halos. To the Aboriginal people, these are powerful ancestor spirits who brought law and culture, but their alien-like appearance has made many wonder, were these really gods or something else entirely? In India's Basta region, 10,000-year-old cave paintings show figures with antennas and flying disc-shaped objects with landing legs. Locals have legends about small beings called the Rohela, who came from the sky in flying machines and kidnapped villagers. Sound familiar? In France's famous Lascaux cave, besides the detailed animal paintings, there are also dots and abstract symbols. Some think they might be early star maps or lunar calendars, showing a surprising level of astronomical knowledge. Nearby, in Chauvet Cave, which dates back 33,000 years, similar dots might represent lunar cycles. These patterns suggest our ancestors were watching the sky and tracking time, possibly even creating the first calendars. In China's Guanyindong Cave, researchers found evidence of the Levallois technique, an advanced stone tool-making method dating back 170,000 to 80,000 years. Instead of smashing rocks randomly, they shaped a stone core so that when it was struck it would produce ready-to-use flakes. This shows planning, precision and repeatability. In Germany's Hohle Cave, archaeologists found a small Venus figurine carved from mammoth ivory, thought to represent fertility. They also found flutes made from bird bones and mammoth tusks, which could play actual music. Crafting them took real skill and sharp tools. In Colorado, there's this fascinating sun temple built by the ancestral Puebloans. They used precise geometry like the 3-4-5 triangle and golden rectangles. Parts of it align with the sun during solstices, which suggests they were tracking solar movement for farming and rituals. It's quite something to think about, isn't it? Over in South Africa's Blombos Cave, archaeologists have discovered red ochre blocks with these carefully carved patterns, some of which are over 75,000 years old. These patterns weren't of animals or people, just abstract symbols. And that's important. It means they were thinking in symbols, not just drawing what they saw. It's like a whole new level of thought. In Spain's Altamira Cave, there are these beautiful animal paintings from around 36,000 years ago. They use shading and natural curves to create incredibly realistic images. Alongside them, there are dots, symbols and handprints that might have been used to track moon cycles, early science mixed with art. Isn't that amazing? In Algeria, the Tassili N'Ajjer Plateau holds over 70,000 square kilometers of rock art. Most of it shows daily life, but a few figures stand out. Strange beings with no facial features, long limbs and round heads. Some even appear to float or hover. One is nicknamed the Great Martian God. Could they have been gods, or something seen in the sky? And then there's the infamous Dropper Stones legend. In 1937, a Chinese expedition supposedly found small skeletons with big heads and fragile bodies buried in the mountains near Tibet. Alongside them were hundreds of circular stone discs with spiral grooves full of tiny inscriptions. A man named Sumo Nuai allegedly translated them and found they told the story of a spaceship crash 12,000 years ago. The beings, called the Dropper, came from another star system and were stranded on Earth. No museum ever displayed the stones, and they eventually vanished. But the story keeps coming back. In Bolivia, there's this giant flat stone platform called Samapta. It honestly looks a lot like a landing pad, with grooves and really strange shapes carved right into it. Some folks think it had a ceremonial use, but, others believe it might have been something a bit more advanced. Over in Malta, the ancient underground hypogeum actually includes a room known as the Oracle Chamber. When deep male voices speak in there, the entire space vibrates at 110 hertz, a frequency that's tied to altered states of consciousness. Some believe the chamber was designed specifically for spiritual communication. And finally, there's Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, over 11,000 years old, built even before the invention of the wheel or agriculture. The T-shaped stone pillars are covered in animals and all kinds of symbols. The level of detail and the alignment with the stars, well, it really suggests a knowledge of astronomy long before it should have existed. Well, that brings us to the end. Thanks so much for listening, and hey, don't forget to follow Secrets of the Ancients and check out our future videos. If you enjoyed this, please